Hey guys, today is actually a very good day. You all are going to watch the R15 V3 video. I missed out some things because obviously I'm not perfect. I missed out some things that I wanted to say, but I did not say it while motovlogging because motovlogging is quite a challenging thing because you're trying to concentrate on the road and say what you want to say. So sometimes you go speechless because there is a person in front of you or there is a pedestrian crossing the road. So your trail of thought is not perfect when you're motovlogging. So about the VBA technology, one clarification that I wanted to make is it's not only a technology that exists in the top end. It's something that Yamaha has put in so that it aids low end, mid range, and top end. So it's very important to know that because people think, oh, VBA after 7,000 RPM or whatever the RPM is, it opens up and then you get the technology. But that's not true. It's just that it's closed before 7,000 RPM, and that is why you get better low end torque. That is why you get better fuel efficiency if you ride it below that RPM. So it is a technology that exists throughout the rev band for the R15. It's not only top end oriented.
So hey guys, I'm back with another video. Today I'm riding my friend's R15 version 3. This is not my first time riding it, it's just the first time that I'm recording a video on the R15 V3. So right away, I was riding the bike really hard and accelerating and achieving speeds. The position actually inspires a lot of confidence when you're doing that. It's quite, you feel like you're one with the bike when you do that. Now there's a corner here. So the R15 V3 has got quite a few features which make it very performance oriented. One is it's got VVA, which is variable valve actuation technology, which basically means the bike can shift to a more aggressive cam profile once the RPMs pass a certain limit. Also it comes with a slipper clutch, which is a very good feature to have. You can hammer it downshifts and it will not upset your rear wheel. So the power is there throughout the rev band. It's not a bike that only makes power in the top end. The power is throughout the rev band, but yes, it does become more aggressive past the VVA RPM. And already I can tell you that my neck is paining a little bit and my hands have kind of probably changed color even. So this is what happens when you ride a R15. I don't know if you can see, but it's very aggressive. So one thing that the R15 has, and it works to its favor, is the engine size. It's a 155cc engine, which means it's fairly small, which by nature makes it very fuel efficient. And that's a very good thing because for the first time in India, you have a bike that's very sport oriented, very track friendly, and is fuel efficient at the same time. So that's a good thing to have in my books. So this is a very track focused machine. Definitely when you take it out on the track, it's going to make a lot of sense because of the aggressive nature. The weight bias, the handlebar position is going to make a lot of sense on the track. But for everyday use, you better have a good set of core muscles, good set of back muscles, because this is really going to ask you to be okay with all of that on a daily basis. So very obviously I am going to compare this R15 to my RS200, and I have to because they fall in the same price bracket. They make I can't say they make the same amount of power because this is making 18 bhp 18 bhp of power, whereas the RS200 is making 24.5 bhp of power. So the RS200 is more powerful, but what this has to its advantage is its aggressive VBA technology, obviously, and the weight advantage. This is very light for a bike in this category. That's why if you see drag races between the RS200 and the R15, the R15 takes off initially, but then the RS200 catches up. The RS200 is very heavy, so, and this is extremely light, and with the power it makes, it's a pocket rocket. That's what I can say. But yes, I cannot deny what other reviewers have already said, possibly that the seat height's very aggressive, the handlebars are extremely low, but that is what gives it its R credentials, so to say. You need to have this in a Yamaha R series, otherwise it's not a Yamaha R series. It's just a normal Yamaha Fasino or something like that. So it's better, when you buy this bike, you already know that going in. It's not a surprise. Even the version 1 R15s had this, and even this one has it. So it's not a surprise. You can't hold it against the bike because it is part of the character. So I will not say that the seating position is a downside, but anyone choosing this bike already knows that. So that's why they would make that decision. And I already made a video why I chose the RS200 over the R15, so you can go and see that. I'll probably put it down in the description or in the cards. But yeah, I with the amount of money I spent, this bike is pretty much in that range. But then I was like, I want the horsepower, I want the cruising capability more than track abilities, and that is why I chose the RS200 over the R15. But yes, it's a pretty good bike. No wonder it's selling that well. So that's all for this short first impressions video. This is not a review by any kind, because I've spent only like 15 minutes to 20 minutes with the bike. But yes, and I have ridden the bike before. It's just the first time I'm recording it. This variable valve actuation, Bajaj needs to get a hold of this to make the Bajaj bikes better. So that's all for this video. I will see you in the next one.
How was the R1 experience, bro?
Something weird happened with the bike just now. I stopped the bike over there to take side shot, and then I tried starting it. It was not starting.
You don't give XC.
I just want to complain now.
Okay, I didn't know that. So then I put the kill switch off and I put it on and it started.
If you give XC, it doesn't start properly.
Achha.
Directly it kills it. With a start.
How is it? How much you open?
I didn't 70. Where I'll
Yeah, bro. And then it's very unstable after.
It can go to
you've ridden the R15. Now what do you think of the R15 V3?
the slowest, fastest 150.
Yeah, but it does have a good. The engine capacity is good actually. It makes sense.
Indian build quality is fucker.
No, but
Recording?
it's recording. Yeah, but
Hi.
it actually makes sense because see, if someone is buying that for commuting, it actually makes sense. Now 155.
Commuting it makes sense.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful bike always.
Yeah.
But it's too underpowered, like for.
The thing is, if they make
1000cc is very underpowered.
no, but if they actually make a 200 or 250 of it, it would sell.
Yeah, it would be.
It would sell.
amazing. Even I would think about picking it up.
But it has the proper R DNA in it. So.
That's why I brought the bike for him. It's okay. And I brought me the AB.
It can overtake the 390 or so. You know?
Yeah, I took it.
So final closing note on the R15 V3, a phenomenal bike. It's taken the 155 or the 150 segment to new heights. It is the top of the 150 segment right now. Obviously it's the most expensive bike, but it's also the bike that has the most amount of features. It has a slipper clutch, it has VVA technology, it has a top end that competes with 200cc. It has the R DNA, you can take it out sport riding, you can take corners with it. So it's got a feature packed brochure sheet, and a lot of these features can be used in the real world. So I don't see why it's a bad bike. I don't think any bike is a bad bike. It just depends whether or not that particular person in the life that he lives likes that bike. So I don't like the R15, but there's my friend Miguel, whose bike it is. He got the R15 because it fits his needs. So it's very important to understand that no bike is a bad bike. It's just that does it fit my needs or not. If it doesn't fit my needs, I'm not going to buy it. If it fits, I'm going to buy it. So, but impressions is so that impressions reviews are done so that you know what you're getting into. A lot of people, I mean, I know if you're watching this video, you know what the bike's all about. But there are a lot of people out there who want their first bike and they're looking at the R15, but they don't know what the R15 entails on an everyday basis. They want their first bike, but they want to buy a Pulsar. They don't know how scary Pulsars can be. So, that's what reviews and impressions do. It's not to inform the informed, it's to inform the uninformed. So, thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. And the next one's going to come really soon. So I have the slowest bike here, but which is the fastest bike? Here.
Second. What?
Which is the fastest bike here?
390.
Over here, this is the first fastest bike, this is the second fastest bike, that's the last fastest bike.
We fight from behind though.
Fast from behind, whatever that means. Any women watching the video, we are not,
Like,
no offense.
share and subscribe.
There you go.
Jeremy D'Souza.
That channel number will change, dude.
Comment and share.
Watch it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
KMPH.
Actually, I can name that, no?
What?
KMPH.
Yeah.
KMPH on the rise, dude.
Chalo, when you're going to do first service?
In 3 days. 1,000 kilometers.
And then after that, you will maintain 40 kilometers per hour?
No. It's going to be on 160, 170, 172.
Hashtag @Mumbai Police. Just listen to what he's saying.
Hashtag Mumbai Police.
And all is all here.
Yeah.
So I just rode the R15 V3, and now back to back I'm on my RS200, and immediately I'm feeling very awkward on my RS200. I don't know why. Seating position, handlebar, yes, that could be it. So I'm just taking my time to get used to the RS.